A call for action tonight from a government watchdog group following a 7 News investigation. Now, in April, 7 News exposed a troubling trail of wasted tax dollars in Black Hawk. 7 News investigator Tony Kovaleski brought that new information tonight. And Tony, it was voters who provided this money. It may be voters that end the flow of money to Black Hawk.
Exactly, Mike. It will take action by voters to stop what some are calling ethical corruption in Black Hawk. We're talking about millions of dollars and no apparent accountability. 2 key state legislators and a government watchdog group now responding to our investigation, calling for a constitutional fix.
You've received more than $500,000 for your house. Don't voters deserve an answer?
You're watching how Black Hawk's elected leaders respond to accountability for money provided by Colorado voters.
$600,000 in money from the state of Colorado. Are you going to run, sir? Are you running away from the camera and from questions?
This is how they explain questionable spending of millions of dollars in public money.
Do I get this man out of my face before I punch him?
The city officials are absolutely unapologetic for any of their behaviors.
Chantel Taylor is with Colorado's Ethics Watch.
It's too much money, too little accountability, and it needs to be absolutely revamped.
And the nonprofit government watchdog group sent this letter to state legislators. It says in part, this small town is receiving millions each year without any meaningful outside oversight into how that money is spent, which makes Black Hawk fertile ground for corruption.
I don't think anybody expected this kind of slush fund to build up in the city of Black Hawk.
In April, a series of 7 News investigations exposed Black Hawk's elected leaders approving millions of dollars in historic grant money to improve the homes of their council colleagues. We also found money intended for historic preservation used for a dog door, granite countertops, and entertainment centers. And our investigation uncovered the spending of thousands of tax dollars for trips to Las Vegas, including show tickets, booze, and limo rides. Public money also paid for their spouses on these trips, in violation of Black Hawk's own policy.
It needs to be readdressed. We need to do something to get these guys under control in their misuse of public tax dollars.
I don't think that kind of expenditure is what the people had in mind when they voted for limited gaming.
Representative Claire Levy's district includes Black Hawk. Representative Al White carried legislation eliminating limits on some of Black Hawk's spending. Both are now pursuing legislative and constitutional fixes to the government waste uncovered by 7 News.
It's an issue that needs to be looked at. It needs to be cured because we've got a problem of tens of millions of taxpayer dollars being misused and abused, and that needs to be fixed. It's financially bad public policy.
Since voters approved legalized gaming back in 1992, Black Hawk has received nearly $40 million just for historic renovation. In its letter to state legislators, Ethics Watch said it seems patently inequitable for one small city to amass a slush fund for its own disposal when monetary resources are desperately needed in other parts of the state.
We want state legislators to take a very close look at the current legal system and this indefinite influx of money that's going into Black Hawk.
Now, state lawmakers tell 7 News they do have the legal right to tighten regulations on the way Black Hawk spends the millions of dollars it receives in the name of historic renovation. But, and here's a big but, stopping the money will take a constitutional fix. Voters will have to step in, and Representatives White and Levy are both looking into that option. We again asked Black Hawk elected leaders to comment on the latest developments. City Manager Richard Lessner emailed us a 3-word response: no thank you. Also, Ethics Watch sent the letter to the district attorney in Jefferson County asking for a complete criminal investigation.
Tony, it's interesting. These are very tough times. People are paying more money for gasoline. It's tougher to make your mortgage payment. I mean, it's just tough times when you see tax dollars being spent that way. Has anybody come to you and said, gee, I think that's fine, there's no problem with that, other than people in Black Hawk?
Well, the elected leaders in Black Hawk are certainly saying they have the right to do this. Voters gave them the right back in the 1990s when they approved gaming, and that's part of the real fix problem here. Legislators don't have the control because of what happened with the vote back in the 90s, and for it to be completely revamped, voters would have to see it on a ballot. That's not likely to happen this coming November, but the elected leaders we talked to, the state legislators, Mike, basically said they want to focus on this when they get back in January and see if they can get it on the ballot in November of 2009.
I can't imagine that the outrage will diminish in any way between now and then.
Well, there are a lot of people wondering how so much money for a small community. Remember, we're talking about just 100 homes up in the Black Hawk area, and that number, it started about $150,000 for 1 year of funding going to the historic renovation. Right. It has grown to more than $4 million in the past year, and if gaming increases, it's on the ballot, it could go up significantly more.
All right, Tony, I know you'll stay on top of this. If you have a tip for Tony or any of our investigators, give us a call at 303-832-7777 or log on to thedenverchannel.com and click on News Tips.